Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? With over 40 years of experience in personal injury litigation, James Milady and his team at Lawyers West LLP, well, they've seen it all. Do not settle for less. Check them out now at www.lawyerswest.ca to set up your free consultation.
You're listening to Daily Hive, and this is the Week Ahead Podcast. Now here are your hosts, Ryan Sullivan and Jay DeMerit.
Again, I did it. Again, I didn't have the mics working. Damn. Nonetheless, welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Week Ahead. My name is Ryan Sullivan. His name is Jay DeMerit.
Hello.
And oh baby, once again, a fantastic show we have in store for you. Biz Nasty 2.0, he's coming up. Of course, I mean, how can you not know this gentleman? He's done it all. He's over 1 million followers on Twitter. There's an amazing story we're going to get into about his Twitter. But also, you know, over 300 PIMs, over 200 games played. This guy was kind of the last of the Mohicans. He was the enforcer, and unfortunately, it seems to be a breed that's kind of going out of style, but he did it with style. You know what I mean? Does that mean anything? I don't know. I kind of just made that up, but...
Well, I mean, sorry guys, I'm just posting this on Facebook Live. I start every show looking at my phone.
Yeah,
that's why. It's because I'm posting our show on...
It's just Snapchatting. No big deal. No big deal. That's okay. That interview is brought to you by Berard Physiotherapy. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into our headlines. The jackass of the week this week is myself. I took Chelsea over Watford, and if you happen to see what happened last week, it was a bloodbath. It was an absolute murdering. Chelsea had 10 men, mind you, but I don't think that's going to save me.
No, not to a 4-1 thrashing.
No, that was an ass kicking. An ass kicking of all ass kickings, but so we'll get into that shortly.
And we got a rendition of the most famous Watford fan of all time.
Oh,
Elton John.
Well, yeah, there it is. Okay, see, I was looking for the connection. I was like, what are you picking Elton for? It makes sense to me now. Okay, so we'll get into all that good stuff. Coming up next week, we're hoping to have Luke Wilson. I was gonna save the Seattle Seahawks, but who knows? Because it's free agency time. And he's a hot commodity right now. So we're hoping for that next week. And then we're hoping for maybe in March of 2024, we're going to get Anthony Scaramucci on the show.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
The most elusive guest we've ever
He really is.
Tried to get on the show.
Extremely elusive. So, yeah, I mean, I keep emailing him, you know, with that FBI address. That's probably what it is. So, not that he'd have anything to worry about, but for some reason he doesn't like a Gmail address, so who knows? I don't know. But hopefully we'll get the mooch on. The mooch.
I wonder if people call him mooch.
Apparently.
They must, right?
I think so. I think he calls himself the mooch.
Well, if not, then he does now.
Yeah, exactly. We're coining the mooch. I don't know if it's been done before. So we'll get into all that good stuff. But before we get to anything, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk to your headliner, and it's brought to you by Berard Physiotherapy. Maybe you've slipped in the bathtub.
A couple times, probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little slip. I mean, you catch yourself, but sometimes it gets worse than that. You've been involved in a car accident. You've played some contact sports, like our coming up guest here, Paul Bissonnette. Whatever the case, many of us has had. We've had our bell rung once or twice, some more than others, myself included. You got some head trauma going on. Berard Physiotherapy wants to remind you that they can help that head, that vertigo, that headache, that muscle stiffness. It's a few common symptoms there associated with concussions, and the caring staff at Berard Physiotherapy have the knowledge and the tools to help you recover. With 150 years of combined experience, you just know you are in the right hands at the one and only Berard Physiotherapy. Is it time? Should we make a move? We'll bring him in.
Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
The one and only, here we go. All right, we now welcome our special guest, courtesy of Berard Physiotherapy, the one and only Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty 2.0, over 200 games in the show, over 300 PIMs, most of which came from fights. And he's now working with the Arizona Coyotes broadcast crew. Welcome, welcome, buddy.
Thank you. Actually, over 200 healthy scratches as well.
That's pretty good.
More games missed than games played, so...
You get the silver stick for that still, or?
The good news is they still pay you when you're not playing.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Not a bad life.
That's pretty damn good. So I think first we'll get into like a little bit of hockey stuff, and then we'll just dump in some random and go from there. So actually, you know, first of all, where did before you get to anything, where did Biz Nasty come from? What is that, and how is it 2.0? What happened to 1.0?
Biz Nasty was a nickname given to me by a teammate when I was playing in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, for the Baby Penguins in the AHL. And Stephen Dixon just started calling me it because I started fighting. I had back-to-back years with 30 fights, and he just came up with it, and it kind of caught on, and all the fans started calling me it, and I just ran with it. And the reason why it's 2.0 is because I started a Twitter account that I had to delete my first one that was just Biz Nasty, and I might have said some things that were a little aggressive, and then my agent was like, "You need to get off this. No good can come of this social media," because it was brand new at the time.
Yeah. No one knew it was a full-on Wild West show back then.
Yeah, so I was just being a clown, saying things that, you know, when you play in the NHL, you shouldn't be saying on Twitter. And then so I shut it down, and then fans from the Coyotes started messaging into the team. And everyone assumed that the Coyotes had made me delete it, so they were furious. And they were like, "You need to stop censoring this guy. Like, let him have a personality," and so on and so forth. And then I came back with the 2.0 version.
Nicely done. And then, now, sticking with that, I mean, you're a pretty good-looking guy. You played in the show and whatnot. But how the hell did you get over 1 million followers? How does that work? And not knocking you at all. It's fantastic. I'm just curious.
I think that once I jumped back on, there was a bit of like hype there, just because I've been kicked off for saying you know, things that might have been offside. So, you know, anyone gravitates toward the controversy, and people started following, and it caught on. And with that came a lot of opportunities. I did some fun things with social media. I did a little mini-part series with the Score at the time. It was called, was it called Downtime with Biz or something like that? Nice. Where I would travel around and I would hang out with other NHL guys. And just slowly it grew. And I think that hockey starves for personality, just because a lot of guys are afraid to come outside the box, which I see both sides. I've seen guys put themselves out there, and then fans jump on them if they're not having a good year. So it was just one of those situations where I wasn't playing a ton. I had a lot of downtime, and I was able to, you know, utilize that and get a social media following, which has led to a lot of open doors.
Nice.
You know, we were tuning into your latest episode of What Goes On in The Bachelor with the Yotes boys. Fantastic watch. Is that it? And now moving into your Arizona, you know, you're doing some broadcasting. You're doing kind of on the road with the guys, kind of things. And do you see yourself kind of moving in to that kind of role, media personality, using again this amazing following you have, a cult following, as we all know. Everybody loves the Biz. Is that kind of where you see your future, or do you want to do like continue to mix what you're doing there, or what do we see you doing over the next year or two?
You know, so ideally, I'd like to balance it. I work with the Coyotes, and I hope to work with them in the future. I like the structure and being involved with an NHL team, but you know, when anytime you're involved with a major corporation or major business, is, you know, you're filtered a little bit. You can only have so much creativity. Whereas they've allowed me to express that and do projects in the summer, and I'd like to continue doing other things like that. So it's a good balance. And of course, we have like a school teacher schedule where we have our summers off. And what better time to get good content with other hockey guys and bring out other hockey players' personalities than when they're away from the rink, they're away from the pressure. You know, I find that it's like a sonar. Where like you get towards the rink and it's like beep, 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 beep. Like their radars are up. They ain't giving you anything other than the cliche answers. But if you can get them in the summertime when they're done their Friday training and they got the weekend off, and you know, they're not thinking about the fact that they haven't scored in 3 games, you can get a lot of good content. And there's a lot of hockey players with great personalities. They just might be a little timid to show it.
Yeah. You're a breath of fresh air, man. It's so true, and it's great that you get that. I don't know. I mean, going in the room and stuff, you can see with like lots of players, they're so afraid to open up. Sometimes you go off the board though, you go outside the box, then they'll show you their personality and get right into it.
Well, and there's two reasons why I like doing it. One, I like having a good time, and two, I feel like hockey fans deserve to see these guys' personality because these guys have been held back for so long. And you guys as hockey fans, it's probably nice to see some of these guys you never thought had personality or never thought were funny, and all of a sudden you see them in a project like I did this summer where you're like, oh wow, like Shea Weber's a pretty good actor, and oh man, Seth Jones is a funny guy. So I hope, we'll probably get to it, but I hope people get to see that, and we can do more and more projects like it.
Definitely, man. No, that's a great call. Okay, so, I'm just going to throw one question at you that's an actual relevant question that has to do with hockey. We had stuff about like a Scottsdale Stadium possibility, stuff like that, but Duclair gets bounced out of Arizona. I think initially this guy must have been thought as captain material when he was drafted and stuff, and it just didn't go quite the way he wanted it to out there. But are there more moves to come? And can we just talk about the state of the Coyotes, because it's a rebuild, but it's taking a little longer than hoped, I think.
Yeah, I think what they're saying is this is the third year of a 5-year rebuild. There was a little bit of, I would say, tension in the organization. You had Dave Tippett, who's a very reputable, well-respected coach who, he's established. He didn't really want to go through the rebuild. He wanted to have competitive teams. And my first 3 years with the organization, when he first came in, we had teams that were projected to finish 14th and 15th in the league, and we ended up making playoffs 3 years in a row and then made a run to the conference finals. Regarding the Duclair situation, I think it was just a good fit for him to leave and for us to move on, maybe based on the way our coach saw him as a player. And a lot of the time when someone gets moved and they're young and there's a big name attached to it, everyone's looking for like, oh, what's the drama behind it? What's the let's create all these storylines. But sometimes it's just like, hey, I don't think this is going to be a fit. We think you can fit here better. We're going to get an asset return, and let's just both go be happy. And I think that was the case here. Duclair's been doing well in Chicago. I like Panic's game, and hopefully they can move on.
Absolutely, fantastic. Well, now let's talk about your time in the NHL and kind of where you're at now, like in an organization moving forward. And, there is a lot of talk about the enforcer position and where that's going. And where do you see that? Where do you see the Biz Nasties of the future fitting into the game?
Okay, so I blacked out a little bit when you asked that question because I forgot to answer the arena question. I have no idea what's going on with the arena. And I hope that we get a new arena and end up having a home in Arizona where more fans can come. Now, Jay, can you re-ask that question?
Gotcha. Sorry, I just blacked out for a second. Just let me ask that again.
CTE works.
We're talking about, speaking of CTE, we're talking about your position over many years. It was the enforcer, and where do you think that position is going? Where are the Biz Nasties of the future going to fit in?
We're dinosaurs. I think that it's definitely gone. I like the organic fighting, and some people want it completely removed. I see no reason to do that. I think where it is now, where it's almost like a treat. Most games you're not going to see a fight, but when you do, it's like a lunar eclipse. And now more so than ever, they're happening organically, where it's a lot more passionate. Whereas a lot of the time, I would just line up and tap a guy in the shin pads, and we would punch each other in the face. I have no problem with that leaving the game. Now, I'm fortunate that it still existed when I was coming up through the ranks, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten a sniff. So I don't want to be a hypocrite, but it will be nice to see less players maybe suffering from issues down the road based on research that has come out now. And that's just the evolution of man, right? We didn't know, like, when I was playing in the AHL fighting 30 times a year, I would get blacked out, or if I got punched and I'd go dark. I was just like, oh, my head hurts, whatever. Suck it up and play the next game. And that's just the way it was. And I'm happy that maybe some people won't have to deal with things that I had to go through in the future, but I don't regret it. I'm very grateful for it.
Absolutely,
Fair
man.
enough.
Let's hit a little rapid fire here. We only got a few minutes left, so let's pound through here. What toughest guy you ever fought?
I had a few bouts with George Peros. I had a good one with Jay Rosehill that you can watch online when he was with Philadelphia.
Underrated.
I would say the most heated rivalry I had was with Chris Barch, who was in Dallas. I think I ended up fighting him 4, maybe 5 times, but he was a guy who was maybe a little bit more undersized than I was, so he was like a light heavyweight. And we had some good goes, and he was a tough customer.
Where are the Wheeling Nailers from?
Wheeling, West Virginia. I played my first 2 years pro there. It is a special place. You'll see a lot of things there that you would not normally see anywhere. God, how do I phrase this without offending anyone? It's like taking a time machine and going back 20 years, but I loved my time in Wheeling. The people there were awesome. The hockey was fun. We had good teams. It's just a different place.
Nice. All right, extremely random. What is your favorite Hall & Oates song?
Oh, God, you guys might not like me after this one. So I went and saw Hall & Oates last year.
Yes, of course you did.
I was extremely disappointed.
No good?
I saw them live, and I left a little early. I felt like they were just there to collect the paycheck. There was no emotion. They just basically sat there, and it was was not impressed. I mean, they have a ton of good tunes that you can listen to on the radio, but when I see someone live and they don't elevate their game, I don't know, it kills it for me.
So are you not willing to give a song?
Oh, I couldn't even name one of their songs off the top of my head, but I know there's 10 songs. When I went there, I knew 10 of the songs.
Yeah, they were a little out of touch.
Wait. What's the? Give me one. Name one.
Out of touch? Nothing.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't put a face to a name on that one.
I'm gonna stop making up questions for future interviews. I'm gonna let Jay take care of the questions from now on.
Next
so
question.
It's good to know about Hall & Oates, though.
I might get killed for that, though. People love Hall & Oates.
They've got a pretty good following, a little cult following there. But I hear you.
I think you're right. I think you're right. You're valued at your own opinion. So
I've gone to see some '80s bands before, and I've been pretty disappointed. So I know what you mean.
That's the thing. Maybe the energy's not there. Maybe they went out and had a bender the night before. But to go off of that response, there was one band who I wasn't crazy about, Vampire Weekend, and I went and saw them live with Scotty Upshaw. Jay, you know Scotty.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a big band guy. I went and saw them, and I fell in love with them. They killed it.
Nice.
Pretty good. Okay, now you're an NFL fan, in particularly the Green Bay Packers. Quick one. Now that the football season's over, who are you looking forward to next year, and who's going to win the Super Bowl 2019?
Well, I consider we're talking about Super Bowl. Let's talk about the Patriots. I love when they win because I love reading all the hate they get online. For me, it's so entertaining how much hate people generate towards them. Bill Belichick is a genius. He's flat out genius at his own craft. I don't think there'll ever be another coach like him. I love Brady. He's 41?
I think so.
He's up there.
I still think they'll be back in the Super Bowl again next year. And I mean, of course, the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is healthy. And I think a lot was shown when Aaron Rodgers went down. That team went from bottom of the barrel. When they have him, they're a potential Super Bowl winning championship. Or that didn't make sense. A Super Bowl winning team.
Nice. Okay. Last question for you. We got a Bolts. Name a current NHLer, if you can, or past NHLer, anybody that you played with that was not a locker room guy. He would get changed and go home to shower. You know they're out there. I know they're out there.
No, never happened. And even if it did, I couldn't embarrass them on here like that. I have heard stories of a few guys in the show that they wait till either guys are completely done or they run in early after practice and they like cover up their junk and shower. where I don't know if the guy's got like cauliflower going off his cock or something, or he just doesn't like the size of his weapon. But like, who cares?
Just a bunch of guys.
I have a grower, not a shower. It's not huge in the showers. You know.
All right, that's a good finish. You cannot finish quickfire round better than that.
Beautifully done.
Awesome. Well, thanks as always for coming on. Always entertaining, and let us know when you come up to Vancouver with the Coyotes, and we'll take this off the ice.
Okay, but have you ever played with a guy that didn't shower after the games?
100%.
Both of you guys.
I have. I mean, I've just played beer league, so there's a whole bunch of them. But
100%. There was some guys that literally they would just walk out of the training, and we used to have to fine them for how much they stunk. We'd have the stink rule, and if guys, I've played from guys that just don't have showering in their culture. You know, like I don't know, African guys, or like there's been some guys that just aren't used to that, going in and showering after games. So we used to have to fine them. A stink fine, we called it.
Well, Ryan, I could sympathize maybe for a beer league guy because he forgot a towel, but when you're training with a professional team, everything's there.
Yeah. Even your shampoo.
Even shampoo. Hey, the one time I dealt with a really stinky teammate, the guy's name was Tomasz Chabi. He was from the Czech Republic, and it was in junior. I never smelled such bad BO. He would walk on the bus for road trips, and the whole bus would stink like rotten onion. We started putting deodorant in his stall at the rink, and he would walk up to his stall and look at it and throw it in the garbage every time. Yeah.
No doubt he didn't make the show.
Oh, yeah. He eventually left the team. He had a rough go. He wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling the whole deodorant culture, so he left.
Fair enough. See, there's two sides to the coin. Is that I played with guys that thought they were in the show, and they'd sweat their ass off, and then they'd throw on their jeans right after and run out the door. It's like, show your junk. Nobody cares. No one's looking. But and then there's the other one who's too comfortable in the room. We used to have a goalie that would walk around. He'd be hanging out, and he would like put his leg up on the bench next to you and like give you tips on your game. So,
oh no,
that's no good. That's no good.
So his sack's just like right on your chin. He's telling you where you should be positionally.
Yeah, hanging brain right in your face. Yeah, so there's two sides to it, but there you go. Hey man, really appreciate you coming on, and when you're in town, definitely let us know, and we'd love to get you in here, or we're back on the horn again, and we'll get it going.
Yeah, and people from Vancouver, look out for that Biz Nasty Does VC documentary. We've been having some issues with licensing the music, but hopefully it's out soon, and maybe even Van City Buzz would want to buy it. Who knows?
Now we're talking. I'm in that, by the way. I hope I made the cut. And yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in the finale with Connor McDavid.
Oh,
nice.
Great company as always, boys?
There you go.
All the greats in that episode.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
All right, buddy. Talk to you in a bit.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
See you, buddy.
Many that do more of an engaging and good job.
Sorry to cut you off. I again forgot to turn on the sound on the board there, so nobody heard what was going on.
We're gonna have to make a sign here.
Yeah, I think so. I'm still getting the hang of this thing. It's pretty good. I mean, it's the technology here. I mean, we're in like this is the late '90s of technology here with this board that I can push buttons on, but I have no idea what the hell's going on. But why don't we talk about that again? Great follow on Twitter. Biz Nasty 2.0. If you don't follow the guy, he's pumping out gold all the time. Like the Bachelor reviews last night. Amazing.
That was his latest one. Go to the Arizona Coyotes social media. It's hilarious. Especially if you're into the Bachelor. which I'm not, but even hearing about it and having grown NHL monsters with no teeth talking about, should they get the rose is actually really kind of funny. And, Biz is one of the best in the biz at, just getting things out of guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to his point, what he was saying there, it's true. Like, when you can get a guy out of his shell, you see the personality, and I mean, it's not only great for the viewing public, but I mean, it's great for the interview. Like, it turns things around completely. And that's the thing, like, that happens so often, is that guys will go into the room to report on something, and it's just all business all the time. And as a player, you just get into this motion of, like, answering the same question over and over, and you'll just give roughly the same answer over and over. But if you go off beat a little bit, switch things up, it changes the game.
Yeah, and I think if you do humor in the right way and at the right time, then it actually works really well. Probably better than anything, if not most things, as far as delivery or creating messages or just making sure that the fans know that they're following a real guy. And I think he does that better than anybody.
Did you ever put on your jeans and go home? No. You've always been a shower guy?
No, I mean, it depends on the day too, right? If I'm coming in on this cool down day and we go for a 20-minute like walk and stretch, and I got something else going on at 1 o'clock, and I got to go to an appointment, or
that's fair.
Then you do, but I mean,
yeah.
And if I shower every day, sometimes it's not that big a deal. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I mean, I'll admit, Russell McGee, volume gone yet? We fixed that, Russell, but I know what you mean. I'll admit, probably up until I was, let's say mid to late teens, I would be a guy that, wasn't too comfortable showering in the room, because the showers at the community centers and stuff are disgusting, and guys just take leaks in them. But no, you hit a certain point where it's just like, I'm gonna take a shower.
Yeah, and I think the majority of the time that's what happens. But
I don't know where this. Yeah. I apologize. I don't know where this conversation's going, but anyway, next week's show live from the showers, so be sure to tune in for that.
Luke Wilson's gonna be here, I think. And tight end. So I'm sure he's. I think Biz Nasty called it a weapon. I'm sure there's a lot of that going on in those locker rooms.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the headlines brought to you by Indochino. You got some lyrics queued up for me, by the way?
Well, Elton John has a lot of very famous tunes.
I don't know if I can...
You got your computer there.
Recite it. All right, fair enough. Make me do the work here. Indochino, the largest custom apparel company, they make suits and shirts made your exact measurements for a great fit. Jay and I absolutely love the massive selection of high-quality fabrics, and the options to personalize are endless. Here's how it works. You pick your fabric, make your customizations, submit your measurements, place your order, give it 3 weeks or less. You've got yourself a custom-tailored suit. We're heading down there in a few minutes after the show, a little Indochino action. And now, because we love the listeners, check this out and come down to Indochino in an hour on Homer Street, and you can put this promo code into action.
50% off a custom suit.
That's what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous.
Week ahead, all one word, 50% off any premium suit for just 459 bones. All you gotta do is punch that in online as well, Indochino.com, and you're laughing at their Vancouver. Any of their Vancouver or Burnaby showrooms, check them out, Indochino.com. All right. Maybe before we get into the Jackass of the Week, let's talk about probably the highlight of the week coming up for me. I'm going to play a little clip here. This is 18 years ago. This is Vince Carter in the slam dunk contest. This is the man changed the game. And this isn't just a Canadian bias thing. The guy was unreal. But, what are some of your favorite dunk contest members? Because this is going on Saturday night. That's my segue. Yeah. This is what's happening. It's going to be maybe not Vince Carter-esque, but they got some pretty good competitors. What's some of your favorite dunk contest members?
Spud Webb. Spud Webb was one of my first memories of a dunk contest. The Jordan Classic. Dominique Wilkins Jordan, 49s to 50s to 49s to 50s. That one was awesome. Other one, probably D. Brown when he pumped up the Reeboks.
Yes.
Would be kind of my other one.
The no look?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That was sick.
I mean, I love the dunk contest. I'm hoping I can tune in.
Yeah. Okay. I like it, man. And you mentioned before we went on air, you're a big Spud Webb guy. And we'll get to that stuff in a minute. But I gotta say, man, 86 Spud Webb, that was a game changer. I was 0
I
years
don't think
old.
anybody in the world knew that a guy like that could dunk the way that he could.
Yeah.
And
It was
like he was like, I know people knew he was a point guard and probably that he could dunk, but
yeah.
not to the extent that he showed at that dunk contest. He just blew my mind. I remember thinking, think of all the short guys that just were like, I can do this now.
And I mean, he put all the pressure in the world on Muggsy Bogues right afterwards, because everyone expected all of this out of Muggsy. Oh, this is what little guys can do. He's like, no, I can just lay it in. I got finger rolls. That's all I got. Muggsy was a beaut. But and then Nate Robinson, just an inch taller, 5'7", a few years later, many years later. But anyway, this year it's going to be huge, and we're going to get into all that All-Star stuff in just a moment. But first, as the jackass of the week, I'll give a few bars in my best Elton.
All right, here we go. And just to precurse, this is the bet that we made last week for the Watford-Chelsea game.
Yes.
Watford, of course, being my former team. Chelsea being Ryan's team. And, I mean, I thought it was a shoe-in for you, but then I was going to have to sing Elton. And the backside of the Elton thing is that Elton John is notoriously Watford's famous fan and owner. He's owned the team that I once captained. Pleasure to call him a friend over the years. And no better tribute to a Watford 401 Premier League win than a couple notes from... Yeah,
I'm going to botch this, but I'm going to give my best Elton impression. Okay, here we go. She packed my bags last night pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 a.m. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll be on the keys.
And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight. People are watching, it's embarrassing. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me around again to find... I botched it.
I yelled at for being too loud, too.
I'm not the man that think I am at home. No, I'm a rocket man. Alright, that's all you're getting. That was the worst thing ever. People are going to be pissed at that. That was terrible.
Hopefully that upped viewership here, but I thought it was quite impressive. I think... was that your best Kermit the Frog voice? Is that your best karaoke voice?
When I'm driving and I hear Elton come on in the car, that's what I go with. And I think to myself, because Elton's still overpowering, I think to myself, you know what? That's spot on. That's a pretty good impression. And then I just heard it, and it's not. It's not.
It's so funny how good of singers we think they are when the music's on behind us.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's insane.
It's unbelievable.
Well, that's a bet, so, thank you for honoring.
Yes, you're absolutely welcome. Okay, you know what? We've got a frozen screen here. Frozen screen alert. We can get to that in just a moment, though. Let's talk about. Let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about what's coming up in. How about LeBron James? Why don't we go to that? Cleveland Cavaliers make a few deals, trade deadline, and now LeBron James. They're saying they're the favorites again. How good is life for LeBron? He runs that entire organization.
Well, while deservingly, I think he does. Who better to not trust him and help you build and help you stay and to help you win championships year after year than him? There should be more of this in franchises where they take the true leaders, the core leaders, the guys that you really can depend on, who can make that huge difference, and give them some trust and say, who do you want? Let's go get him. And I think that should go on more. And the fact that it seemingly does go on there, and again, we're not in the locker room, we don't know, but we all presume so, and rightly so, because he wins championships, and there's no doubt that they should be. As long as he's there and he gets a supporting cast, it's like a Tom Brady or a Bill Belichick. You get your supporting cast and guys that will buy in because he'll create that standard. You got winning formulas, and that's what you got to produce every year.
You're going to be filmed a lot because one of our cameras has dropped out, so it's a good thing that you went into makeup before we got started here.
Where are you going to put that?
I have no idea.
You stand there?
I have no idea. I'm just going to stand here. Wait, we might be back in business soon. This is ridiculous. All right, there we go. Now we're back. Now we are back in action. This is a freaking long show. I apologize. I was not ready for this. The Biz Nasty interview, it was so good that it kind of threw me off a little bit, I think.
You wouldn't learn.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. I got this little app for the iPad here. We can live produce, and it's causing nothing but problems.
I mean, imagine though having to recut this and not watch live and be able to give our great sponsors some love on screen.
Our sponsors are all going to leave because they're like, this is garbage.
Let's go.
All right, I love it though. Excellent take, by the way, on LeBron James.
Thank you.
I mean, if somebody just handed DeMerit the keys to a franchise and said, tell us when you're happy with all the trades we've made. Tell us when you're happy with the floor time you get. We'll bring in a coach that you want. It's gotten to the point where it's borderline ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. But I also, he's arguably the best basketball player that's ever lived. So, it's just one of those things. You got to put trust in guys that will lead from the front and give those guys some power. And I think that, there's no greater example of that than LeBron James, and you just got to get trust from your organization, and that doesn't happen often either, because you got guys on the organizational side, the administration side, that don't want to give players that amount of power.
No, fair enough.
And it does take that collective of people buying into it, and they seem to have it down there, but it doesn't happen often.
No.
One or the other won't do it.
It's that's fair. It has gotten to the point though where it's just like it comes off so pretentious, almost as pretentious as drinking Perrier. Not quite as pretentious as drinking Perrier, but it's embarrassing. And the fact that the whole hoopla around him right now is, will he go to the Lakers? Where will he sign at the end of the year? The season is 2/3 of the way through. And it's got to be annoying if you're another Cavs player, because all of the headlines are just about one guy and what he's going to do 5 months from now.
Yeah, well, and it's got to be annoying for him, too. He seems annoyed when he gets these interviews and he's got to talk about people telling him he's moving to LA when there's no way his focus is at all about what he's doing next year. There's no way. It's just not in his character. So, it's for him to have to field those questions, have teammates have to feel those questions, isn't good for anybody. And I think they do a pretty good job of downplaying it from all sides of the organization, but it's still the fact that people just want to talk about that. It's just modern day media.
Yeah, well, fair enough, man.
Unfortunately, but true.
True enough, man. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a format change on this show. And what we're going to do, generally, we break down the week ahead. Of course, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we're going to do a similar thing. We're just going to go by sport. I feel like this will be a little bit more compartmentalized, a little easier to follow along for some people. And they can tune in for their favorite part. They want to hear Jay talk Champions League, they can do that. And then go grab yourself a cup of tea, no problem. So let's move on and let's talk about some hockey right off the bat. Before we do that, let's talk a little Broward Roofing.
Drip, drip, drip. Ladies, you don't have to sleep with that drip tonight. That annoying drip in your home you just haven't gotten around to getting rid of? Burrard Roofing and Drainage can fix that annoying drip. For 40 years, Burrard Roofing and Drainage has been fixing roof leaks right down to the cause, guaranteed. Call Burrard Roofing and Drainage. Call 604-986-1812. Burrard Roofing and Drainage. We've got you covered.
No, I'm loving this show so far. Okay, let's talk about the NHL coming up this week on Wednesday. We're just going to bounce through some games you should keep your eye out for. That word was marquee. Wednesday, Florida Panthers taking on Vancouver here at Rogers Arena. Whatever, mean nothing. Thursday, you got the Kings, you got the Penguins, and I wish I talked to Biz Nasty about this, because the Penguins added Ryan Reeves this past offseason. Ryan Reeves is a behemoth, a monster of a man, and it's nice to see that somebody can protect Crosby and Malkin out there. And, just in your shoes, when you have a guy out there that's watching your back, you can be a little bit more comfortable. You can take a few more chances.
100%. And it's funny because I've actually partnered with him before. And
Ryan Reeves?
Yeah,
nice.
He's part of that. Yeah, nice guy off the field. But I remember Scotty Upshaw was who I was with that night, and he's like, that guy? He's like, toughest guy I've ever seen. and Scotty Upshaw's been in the NHL for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And to have him say that, goes and shows that there are still places in the game for this.
Yeah.
But like Biz says, they're a dying breed, they're dinosaurs, they're whatever, and rightly so. But if you can physically make a difference, especially as the season goes on, that's why you do it. And I don't think that position is going extinct. But you got to still be, now you got to be a skilled guy that can do that, or a guy that can at least get away with it, not just go out there and swing. But those guys got to develop their games, and now you can be the enforcer. That's 20% of what you do. You come out there, you can pass the puck, and maybe have whatever. But you got to bring more value than that. But it sounds like this guy, brings more value than just swinging. But his biggest value is making sure that Crosby's out there doing his thing. So, but I still see that the role is valid. Yeah, and it's very true, because like you used to see. I still remember Darren McCarty. I want to say '98 Stanley Cup final. Somebody, if you want to confirm that for me, I will give you $25 to Jaegers. '98 Cup final. McCarty against Philadelphia Flyers pulls out a couple of unbelievable moves. Dekes Hextall out of his pants. Puts it in, and people's brains were bleeding because an enforcer just showed that he had hands, and that had never been done before. But now, if you're an enforcer, if you want to have that part of your game, you have to have hands. You have to have some skill. So these guys aren't. I wouldn't say they're dinosaurs. I mean, even Bissonnette had some skill with the puck. It's an evolved role, but it's still there still is a place for it. But like to your argument, this is the long way around to your argument. You got to have some hands. You got to have some skill in the back pocket. So there you go. So that's coming up. Keep an eye out for that game. That'll be a good one. That same night, Thursday night, Detroit taking on Tampa. Vancouver has their hands full with the Sharks. Friday, Philadelphia and Columbus. Philly barely hanging on to that wild card spot in the East, but I love it. Saturday, Boston and Vancouver. The Bruins come to town. Trying to relive it.
Trying, struggling, but trying. There's just nothing there. There's nothing. The city
Marchand's still there.
Marchand's there, but like the city does not create anything, and it kills me. This goddamn town, Vancouver, it just drives me nuts. There was traffic on the way in. There's 2 lanes blocked on Smythe, yet there's a wide open bike lane there. It's freaking 3 degrees outside. It's sunny as hell. No bikes. No bikes. Sorry.
You heard that here first.
Sorry.
I'm not sure not everyone in Vancouver will agree with you.
No, probably
I'm sure
not.
There will be some.
Probably not. But this is the only town where there's no highway anywhere near the vicinity of the downtown core. No highway.
Good places in Vancouver, unless you're on a bike.
Yeah, there's only a few roads in and out of this town, and we choose the Tuesday after a long weekend when everyone's going back to work to rip up the main street. So we can go from 3 lanes, which should be 4 lanes, but a bike lane's in, down to 1 lane on. We're talking about Boston, Vancouver. I don't know how it came up, but I had to scratch that itch.
Similar pedigree and passion, I think.
Well, I tell you, on Sunday, Philadelphia taking on New York. Everyone's complaining about the Rangers, saying they gotta implode, or they are imploding, explode it. I don't know. The Rangers they're only a few points out. Let's settle down there. Why don't we move on though and talk about Portmanteau, and why don't we talk about a little football? What's going on, footy, I should say. What's going on at Portmanteau this week?
Portmanteau is we're finishing our coffee table. We're sending to Toronto. Toronto is seeming to be more of a market for our higher end products, so we're getting that. We're getting ready to ship out east, and more rocket logs. I went out and got some more rocket logs this weekend.
Are you chopping?
I'm chopping for sure.
Yeah,
I get the big parcels, and then my buddy I go out to the woods with. Again, we only find cut down trees, or trees that have been topped for some other reason and are just standing there.
Yeah.
And we so we only reclaim logs that have been cut down.
That's good.
Fallen down.
That's really good. Okay.
And so we went and got some more material. In our hunts, we know where the next pile is. Oh, let's go get those this time. So yeah,
nice.
So we'll keep going on those, and then
sweet.
Keep rocking that BC wood.
I like it, man. I like it. It's what does it run you, by the way? Because I mean, these rocket logs, you're shipping them out and stuff. The rocket log, I mean, weighs what, 20 pounds? 12 pounds. Okay, 12 pounds. But nonetheless, you're shipping that across the country. What does that run you? Like the shipping's got to be a pain. It costs
anywhere between $25 and $47 to ship from here anywhere in North America.
Okay.
Canada, of course, is a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
At $25, it's anywhere between $25 and $35 to ship anywhere in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's anywhere between $40 and $60 to ship to the States.
Okay. That's not bad.
So not bad, but still, like, think about if with a price point of only $400, we make them for just over $200. It's not huge margins. But, our plan is if more we make, the less of our costs we will have because we can do things faster and better volume. So yeah, it's all part of the startup process. But
beautiful.
Every day is a new adventure at Portmanteau Stereo, that's for sure.
Attaboy. All right, let's talk about round of 16, leg 1 of 2, starting up Tuesday. That is today. Juventus, it could be Juventus. I never got to the bottom of that. Taking on Tottenham. You got FC Basel maybe taking on Manchester City. First of all, can you clear up the pronunciations?
Basel is that's pretty much a no-brainer for the Man City fans. They're loving it.
Yeah,
I mean Basel definitely it's come from they are generally pretty good in Champions League and have become more of a Champions League team because they're one of those teams that never really seems to get scored on. Like they always seem to have like a really good game plan, take on those kind of big guns that you have to in the Champions League and be solid. Yeah. And they always seem to kind of get through rounds now, and that's usually just playing pretty solid soccer, not getting scored on very easy, scoring on set pieces, etc., etc. But they've been able to add because when you reach Champions League as much as they have over the years, you get budgets. You get bonuses through your club that you can go and buy those little bit higher echelon players and stuff. So they've slowly been building over the years and now become a Champions League team every year. And then I like the Tottenham game. Juventus, of course, any Italian team, they're going to be really good defensively. Tottenham, Harry Kane is just through the roof this year up front for them, scoring goals at will. So I love that battle. You gotta love those two teams going up against each other. Very different styles. And also like when big Italian teams go up against big Premier League teams, you just love that. That's what the Champions League is all about. Yeah, is taking the world superpowers within the soccer world and from different countries and putting them together and it's fascinating to watch different styles come together, see who wins. Absolutely, man.
And speaking of which, another great matchup from 2 separate leagues on Wednesday. You got Porto taking on Liverpool. That'll be nice. And you've also got Real Madrid against PSG, and that's going to be the highlight of the week.
Yeah, that's the big Goliaths, the Neymars, the Ronaldos, they're all in there, and you want to see those guys going up against each other. Yeah, that's again, the whole reason for me that I watch Champions League is to see that kind of stuff. Yeah. The world's best players, world's best organizations going up in now different styles within the leagues, and that makes for riveting television. And I love this time of year when you start to get into springtime. Champions League's getting serious. Every team you've heard of, and now it's just about this kind of chess match of who can juggle their club seasons because they're all vying for their champions. That's how they get into Champions League. Is they win the league or they take top spots, and then but you still have to juggle this. Oh, we want to win Champions League because that is a club the most. That's the biggest trophy you can win. So that's also fun to see who plays, and because you got to juggle your lineup too, and who gets the big league games, who gets the Champions League games, the guys that want to play both, but you're getting the games 40 and 50 about by springtime, April. Yeah. And you got to rest guys, and you got to make sure guys are ready for those big matches if you get to the later in the season. So it's always interesting to see who plays and guys that come out and get their contributions in. So that's always things to look for at this time of year. Yeah. It's going to be fun, man. And then next week, same thing. First leg, Bayern taking on Besiktas. Chelsea taking on Barcelona, Sevilla and Man U, and Shakhtar Donetsk taking on Roma. Good pronunciation there.
Was that all right?
You're getting better at your Champions League. Some good matchups there. I don't know if Hutchinson, Canadian boy, plays for Besiktas.
There you go. Okay.
So Canadians can look out for him.
We like that.
And I think Bayern is still a favorite. They get better as the year goes on. There are always some talking points in that, but I think Bayern continues to roll and really hopefully sets up these games where the Bayern start to play the PSGs and that's when it starts to really get good, and that's coming up in the next couple months.
Yeah, next week is going to be a week of the favorites. You've got favorites taking on pretty much no names except for Chelsea and Barcelona, but we can touch on that on next week's episode. That'll be episode 21. It's episode 20, by the way.
Wow.
We made it to 20 episodes. Yeah, I don't know how, but we're here. All right, let's talk a little NBA basketball, and it's brought to you by Jaeger's. Jaeger's Restaurants and Sports Bars, they've been serving up some of the best damn comfort food for 12 years running. Not only a great spot for sports, each location has trivia, wing, karaoke nights as well, and you can book that free private party room we like to tell you about. Accommodates up to 40 people. It's got the big screen, surround sound, caters to any events, meetups, birthdays, corporate, you name it. Best of all, it is free of charge. Give them a call to book that. Jaeger's 2 locations ready to serve, Kitsilano and Gastown. Check them out at jaegers.com. So in the NBA, we'll just go over a few games. There's a couple decent ones on the way, but then let's talk about the good stuff coming up this weekend. Cleveland taking on OKC. That's happening Tuesday night. That is tonight. Toronto taking on Chicago. The return of Zach LaVine helping out the Bulls.
Those are good. I like those.
Yeah, not too bad so far. Golden State taking on Portland. If you feel like doing it, ride down the I-5 for whatever it is, 6-7 hours. Steph Curry's in town. It's going to be a good game. Denver taking on Milwaukee, and the Lakers taking on Minnesota to round out your Thursday. And then on Friday, I don't really know about this new concept stuff they're going with, but you got World versus USA, Team LeBron versus Team Curry. But for me, everything is on Saturday because that's the dunk contest, that's the three-point contest, and I'm going to put the video up again. We're going to show Vince Carter throwing down some more dunks. That's everything. I mean, do you watch... We talked about All-Star games a few weeks back. Do you watch the All-Star game, or do you tune in for that?
No, I don't like All-Star game. I've been to an All-Star. I went to the NBA All-Star game a couple years ago.
Nice.
It's just, it's fun because you get to watch the musical acts and do whatever, but they're trying to get interesting. I get their efforts to trying to do these, like, team captain games and the world versus whatever's, and I guess you got to keep trying to evolve it. I still don't think they found the answer, though. Yeah. Because it's not fun to watch. Yeah. It's just a bunch of guys running around and doing trick shots and stuff, and it's just like...
It's annoying.
I think you just do the skills.
Yeah. I'm all in for that, man. I
think you should get the big names back into the skill competitions and just run that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, this
do like a 3-on-3 tournament or something.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really
good. And round robin or NCAA tournament bracket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 2-on-2s. Oh, come on.
There's got to be something there. I mean, you know what? The NHL tried it out this year. They did their 3-on-3 format, and I thought it was decent. I mean, as far as all-star games go, because they're not going to be amazing, it was decent. But just if you were wondering, in the 2018 dunk contest, you got Victor Oladipo, whatever you want to call him, of the Pacers. The guy's pretty awesome. Larry Nance Jr., now of the Cavaliers. Dennis Smith Jr. could be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Same with Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz.
There he is.
Another Roy candidate right there. And it's going to be good, man. These guys can throw the ball down pretty good. So I'm excited about that. I'm setting the PVR. I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but I'll set the PVR. I will record it.
That's all you can do.
Absolutely.
Step one.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. And our final topic of the day, we're going to talk Olympics because nobody else is in this country, and it's killing me. But it's brought to you, as always, by the fine folks at Connoisseur, BC's #1 selling Chilean winery. The BC Cleta range of wines, amazing values. They're all $10.99 at your BC liquor store. Check them out today. We've had them on the show many times. They're quite decadent.
They are decadent indeed.
Quite good. All right, so if you're wondering, because in this country it's all about hockey, Team Canada hits the ice for the first time against Switzerland, 7:10 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday. So if you're up at 4 in the morning,
4:10,
check it out. This one's a little better. On Friday night, they're taking on the Czechs. This one's at 10:10 Eastern, so you got a 7 o'clock start. Okay. That works. That's p.m. And then on Sunday, you got Korea taking on Canada, the hometown Koreans, but it's 7:10 a.m. Eastern again, so probably a little unfortunate. But outside of hockey, and the reason that I want to say the event times and whatnot, is because nobody else is doing it. Nobody knows when these things are going on, and it's killing the games.
I agree. I think that everyone wants to watch, especially here in Canada, And they are, the news outlets are doing it, but they're not doing it in the way that you can actually pay attention to it.
Yes.
You can download the app, which is, of course, then you got all of it there, but that's like, people just need less effort than that. Or though I don't want to download the app because it's taking too much stuff on my phone. You know what I mean? But then the news outlets are, maybe there is a way that you can make sure, Canada's own Mercedes Nickel goes into the, the half pipe tonight.
Yeah.
And then do that like 7 times in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like through the news outlets or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's different ways, because I agree. I feel a little bit disconnected to what's on every night.
And like agents of the athletes have come out, and this is probably something that I mean Ashley knows all too well. Fortunately for her, in 2010, people were all over it because it was in our own backyard. Sure. But for these athletes over in South Korea right now, their agents have come out and said this has been really light, in compared to previous years for sponsorships, different ad opportunities, stuff like that. And it's sad to see, because Canada right now, heading into the week, are 4th in the medal standings. They're ahead of the United States. They're tied with them, but they're placed ahead in the standings. Maybe it's an alphabetical thing. I don't know. Yeah. So, no, 10 medals on the board, 3 gold, 4 silver, 3 bronze, and they're killing it. And that's the thing, is that, for the States dominate Summer Olympics all the time. They dominate Winter Olympics all the time. But for Canada, it's the Winter Olympics. This is the biggest stage. The Summer Olympics, hats off to the athletes. They're fantastic, but it's all about the winter here. This is what we do, and it's every 4 years, and nobody knows when anything is on TV, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely brutal.
Let's take that up with the networks.
I think I might have to. It's distasteful, is what it is.
I agree. Especially in a nation that wants to cheer.
That's what I'm saying. Outside of hockey, Paris free skating on Thursday. Check that out. We got a good duo there. Luge medal rounds on through Friday. The Luge is... when else are you going to watch the Luge? Unless you've got the Luge network, which I don't think...
pay-per-view, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be. But, I mean, Luge is a cool sport. The skeleton medal rounds are on Friday and Saturday. That's a sweet sport. You got to have your nuts drilled on pretty tight for the skeleton. Snowboard, speed skating medal rounds on now through Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've got freestyle skiing, the medal rounds on again. I love the moguls. Unfortunately, I missed some of them, but I think they're on again. And for the McIver DeMerit family, February 23rd, ladies ski cross, seeding, quarters, semis, and finals.
Well, and Marielle Thompson may still compete. She busted her knee like 5 months ago.
Okay.
Surgery, everything. And she is in Pyeongchang and potentially might defend her gold medal. Yeah.
That right there, aside from the Mark McMorris story this week, which was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But few people knew going into it. That right there was the most background anybody's got on any of these athletes in all of Canada.
And the only 2 gold medalists in the sport are Ashley McIver, DeMerit.
Yeah.
And
nice.
And Marielle Thompson. So
there it is.
Both Whistler girls, both born and raised in Whistler, BC. So
oh, okay. Good people.
Pretty incredible, really.
Yeah, good people in Whistler. And it's rare that you meet somebody from Whistler that's not Australian.
That's true.
So there you go. Not bad. You know what? That does it. That does it for us. We are done. That
Good
was
show today. Thanks to Biz, though. That's awesome. He always brings great content. And
yeah.
I know he's got a drove of fans out there, so hopefully he can.
We're hoping
so. Pump our tires too. Come on, Biz. Let's do this.
Come on now. That was easily the highlight of the show. I mean, this was great chatting with you as always. But I mean, the fact that this whole production was just completely Mickey Mouse.
Any technical advice? Yeah. Any technical advisors out there?
Yeah.
And want to hire Ryan.
Mm-hmm. If anybody knows how to push buttons, I mean, we're going to put out a job application because I've just got nothing but thumbs apparently. So that was brutal. But coming up next week, we're hoping, fingers crossed, no pressure to the man because it's free agency, it's busy. But Luke Wilson, hopefully, chatted up with him. Could be a former Seahawk, could be a current Seahawk. We'll find out.
We will find out. Well, I'm sure he'll be pretty tight-lipped on it all, but yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Good to have him on, and also just to wrap up the NFL season, which we're
still
a little bit pouty about. We love the NFL. So.
And then and as mentioned, October of 2026, Anthony Scaramucci is going to come on the show as well.
Fingers crossed for the mooch.
Yeah, we're hoping to get the mooch in here sometime, so we'll keep you posted on that one. That does it. Thank you so much. Live from the Daily Hive. Check out the article tomorrow. It's going to have the podcast. It will have this video as well and a ton more info on Biz Nasty and everything that's going on with his documentary, which you were a part of.
Biz Nasty Does BC.
There it is.
Check out for it.
Coming up.
If you're in the media industry, they're looking for somebody to bring it to market. So if you're out there,
boom.
Get in touch.
There you go. Final notes. Use the bike lane and watch the Olympics. That's what we got. So nobody does it. Both things. Nobody does either. So get on that, people. Jesus. Thank you so much. See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.